Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Innovation Conversation, brought to you by Innovation Network. In today's episode, we show you how current day innovations can be pivoted to help social issues, as well as third world countries are bringing light to houses using just plastic bottles. I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Innovation Conversation. We've got Grant Vernon. Say hi, Grant.
Episode 4, we made it!
Once again, we've made it.
Yeah.
We've got Chad.
Yeah, one more week.
That sounded convincing, Chad. One more week.
Chad's the pessimist. He thinks we're gonna be cancelled every week. That's the opposite.
It's Grant's comments. That's the nail in the coffin.
Does Spotify ever cancel the podcast? I guess we're going to find out.
And I'm Connor.
Thanks for joining us, Connor.
So trying not to get cancelled. Let's kick it off. What's our first topic, Grant?
All right, first topic. Oh, this one is a tearjerker.
Oh no.
It's a pivot on a traditional platform economy business, and it is using like an Amazon Prime delivery type service for good. Only watch it if you have a box of tissues handy, because it's a tearjerker, but too cool. So it's all about people seeing homeless, vulnerable people on the streets and wanting to help them immediately. And I think we've all been there, where you see someone, but you don't have cash. Maybe you shouldn't give them cash, but you just don't know what to do. And the video is all about logging onto an Amazon Prime type platform. In some cases, they actually engage with the person, and the person says, I really need warm socks or a pair of shoes. And they get the platform to deliver that to the homeless person on the street using the directions in the notes field. And it's too cool. So well worth a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And
so
I challenge you not to cry.
So am I right in thinking, is it just you can log on to Amazon Prime and sort of buy things for a homeless person, and do you give directions to the specific homeless people? Or?
Yeah, so what's interesting is it's just using your normal platform, like any sort of online shopping platform.
Yeah.
You know, there's always like a delivery notes box. So they put in things like, give it to Mike, a guy sitting next to the store or at this address. And I'm sure it doesn't always work out because the person may move on. But what it looks like happens is if someone knows that there's a pair of shoes coming, they wait by that place and the delivery guy brings it. So, yeah, so it's basically, it's enabling the solving of a social problem with a platform economy type business. And what I did think would be interesting is if you wanted to take this a step further, you could make a portal and take the affiliate income from an Amazon type platform to fund a charity. So you could actually turn this into a social enterprise and really expand it. Yeah, so I loved it. I really did.
I too. I think it's really exciting to think how far something like this could go. Because I'm thinking like, you know, the homeless people could maybe be taken off the street by being hired as delivery people by the same service. That'd be a really cool way to do it as well.
What you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any thoughts on this, Chad?
Well, I like it because us in South Africa are always wary about giving the people on the streets money and what they're actually using it for. Like there was this one guy that I gave him money earlier in the day, and then I came back later on, and he was on his cell phone. He'd just come from Spa to get more art materials to actually go make his signs, which is mainly the reason that you give him money, because he's got these amazing signs. And you know what, making sure that somebody has something that they need rather than something that they want to get is something that makes a lot of sense to me.
You just contributed to his marketing budget, Chad, so that's still a feel good factor. but absolutely, sometimes that money goes to a criminal syndicate or perhaps goes to substance abuse. So it's a neat fix to make sure they get something they really need. Definitely we could take this to the next level. So a little social enterprise innovation I really loved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, innovations like this are really interesting because they make you think, you know, what sort of avenues are we missing out on in terms of solving social issues because of the lack of innovation, you know? It makes you wonder, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just
And
thinking as we speak. Oh, sorry, Chad, Karen.
sorry, I don't think it's only about that. I think it's how can we better use existing innovations as better to impact a more wide range of people, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I mean, Amazon Prime did exist before that. Yeah, so you're right.
Exactly.
Definitely, it can be applied to
And
different things.
yeah, I was just thinking. Every time I leave our local supermarket, there's stands for animal shelters, so you can put in pet food and stuff. But it's always as you walk out, and I've always forgotten, and I feel terrible every single time. Probably I also have memory issues, but I was thinking if they had some sort of QR code or a link to a platform where I could just scan, pay, and get something delivered, that would be very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then linking to that, I've seen buskers in the London Underground with QR codes or tap and pays instead of taking cash.
Oh wow.
Never been brave enough to use it myself. In South Africa, we're very conscious of financial fraud. So I'm far too nervous to use my tap card on a busker. But it's a clever pivot, you know, to changing business models, you know. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, there's also things like Zappo that aren't too expensive, but people can actually use for charities like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I'm thinking homelessness and instant payments. Yeah, we're onto something to be continued, guys. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it can be expanded on so much. But
Yeah.
I think, are you guys ready to move on?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Corporate innovation topic of the week. This is an interesting one. We live in the times of COVID, and it's an article all about companies trying to avoid employee burnout by forcing people to take holidays, to switch off email. And what made me really like this is, do you remember the famous Google 20%? So I'm not sure if it still happens, but Google let their staff dedicate 20% of their time to a topic of their choice that they were passionate about. And they found that 20% time created the most amazing innovations. And sometimes working on something not specifically work-related would bring benefits back to the workplace. And this article is all about different companies and the way they've helped employees switch off, regenerate, and get more creative and innovative. So it's a neat one during these times, and a reminder to all of us to take a bit of time out and switch off our email.
Cool.
Do you have any... I just got to check my email.
Do you have any detail on how they actually block it? Is it like a network type thing, or do they just encourage their workers to?
There's a whole lot of different examples. There's some companies that encourage it, some that enforce it. So like they have sort of radio free time. And then I think there's one where the system will shut you out. So a whole lot of cool examples of large companies and what they do to help people get that work-life balance. So a great article on CNBC.
That's really powerful, definitely. I think this one's great. I think this is great on a company level, and I think you can apply it on a personal level as well. You know, there's a great app called Focus Me. It's not free, but it's very cheap. And you can block things like distractions, but then you can flip it on its head, and you can sort of block productivity applications as well. So I think this is a really powerful one because, you know, if I think humans, they need a cue when to stop, otherwise they will not stop, you know, whether it's scrolling through YouTube and it be a distraction, or if it's working and there's no sort of solid end, like leaving the workplace. You know, we all work at home, so it's kind of hard to stop working sometimes. So I think those sort of digital cues that just completely block out the screen, that's super powerful, and it can restore a lot of balance to someone's life.
Yeah, and you have your best ideas when you're relaxed, right? In the shower, on vacation, on the beach. So definitely for innovation, creativity, I thought it was a neat one that we sometimes miss.
Well, I can relate with what Connor just said, is that we all work from home. I mean, my bed is literally about 3 feet away from my desk at the moment, and I don't think I've actually sat down during the day to do nothing or to stop thinking. My brain is always on the go. And now it's just making me think that maybe I can do with like an hour or two of downtime every day, and maybe I'll actually increase my productivity on the whole.
I really like that app, Connor, app recommendation, Focus Me. Could you have that on your laptop and your mobile phone? Does it go across devices?
Yeah, so it's on mobile as well. So I use, sorry, let me just look at my phone. It's, I can't find it.
A lot of our listeners are going to be interested in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I use a different one on my phone. So I mean, I think what we'll do is we'll release a podcast, and I'll give a few of these because there's so many I can recommend.
Cool.
But yeah, Focus Me is the one I just said. So you can use it for any application or any website, and it will just turn your whole screen blue. Or I used it to get over a bit of a video game addiction. And so when I was just about to slay the dragon, it there'd be a lot of pop up in the bottom left of my screen saying you have 5 minutes remaining, and then by the end of those 5 minutes, it would just minimize the game, and I could not get it open again, if you know what I mean. So cool. A really good recommendation, that one.
Good.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. All right. It's time for the innovation of the week, and this is a low-tech one for you this week.
Ooh, I like it.
I had to come back from last week where we got a 5 out of 10. Very embarrassing. And this is that YouTube video we use in training, one from Rody Fonk, the Dutchman, who'll be back next episode. He's finished renovating his house. And it's called The Liter of Light, and it's about these informal houses, and I think it's originally in the Philippines, where you get these large-scale poor residential areas like informal houses and no electricity, so really dark at night. Kids can't do their homework, can't see to cook. And I think you blend bleach and salts and water into a 2-liter cool drink bottle, anchor that in the roof, and somehow creates the incandescence of a 60-watt light bulb. So an awesome video to watch. Connor will put the link in. Too cool and inspiring and super simple.
I can't believe you stole Rhodey's innovation there, Grant. His favorite.
I had to do it this week because he's back next week, so I had to steal it early.
Oh yeah, it's your last chance.
Connor, just make sure he listens to this so that he knows exactly who stole the innovation. And I can expand a bit on how it all works because of the science behind it. The bleach and the salt keep the water clean and no algae from forming in the bottle. And it's just a basic use of the refraction properties of water. And it just sort of reflects the water, the light within the bottle and emits the light around the room, which is fantastic for during the day when they were not able to use the electricity because it was too expensive. And it was, they were having to do things in the dark, which isn't exactly ideal. And I think this is absolutely amazing piece of innovation that don't cost that much money. It was with household items that everybody generally has, and I love this.
Yeah,
so amazing, life-changing and simple. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say I'm really scared for the scores on this one because this is probably our favorite innovation, isn't it? Really, I joked about it being Rhodey's, but really, it's an absolute epitome of innovation. You know, it's something that's made from literal trash. You know, and it's just so impactful. So it's Should we jump right into the scores for this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so simplicity, 10.
Gotta be a 10. Yeah,
it has to
definitely.
Be. Has to be.
I mean, with that,
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a plastic bottle, isn't it? With So, impact. What are we thinking?
9, just so we don't set the bar too
high. 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
you can disagree, Connor. You can put it.
I would have said 10 personally, but
we could have gone to 10. To be very honest,
we got 96 more episodes, guys. Slow down.
We don't know what's still out there.
Well, that's why we got to split up into seasons. So we don't have a reigning champion for too long.
Can the bottle be in every season?
Cool. So ease to implement. What are we saying for this?
Yeah, it's got to be a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, it has to be because if I'm not mistaken, this was a carpenter from the Philippines that actually
I think
implemented
so.
it.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's
he was
super
out of
easy.
work. So it
Very,
was
very
super
cool.
easy. Super, super
Well,
cool.
well worth a watch and a share. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I
Uh,
mean, are we saying a 10? I mean, the only thing, you have to drill a hole in the roof. That's one.
yeah, there are some tools that are required. You
Yeah.
can't
But
just
well,
pick everything off.
I think in terms of ease of implementation, it's more about how accessible are the resources. And I think, we almost have too many plastic bottles just lying around, don't we, in this world?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe a 10 for me. What do you guys think?
I think
Okay. All
9.
right.
I
mean,
think 9, just because it's more difficult to actually install than it is to put the bottles together.
True.
Yeah, let's go 9. So we've got a little bit
Tiebreaker.
more room.
9.
There might be a better idea out there.
Could
We
be,
don't want
yeah,
to.
definitely. Awesome. So, right, we've got simplicity is a 10 out of 10. Impact is a 9 out of 10. And then the ease to implement is also a 9 out of 10. So I think that's the reigning champion so far, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
cool.
by 1 or 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
You did it, Rudy. You did it. You got the best idea. Yeah.
Well, you stole it. So
For now.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, shall we move on then?
Yeah. So creativity tip of the week this week. It's an oldie but a goodie, and it's called silent brainwriting. So if you've ever been in a brainstorming meeting before, you'll know that often one or two people will dominate a brainstorm session. You get caught up debating one idea for 40 minutes. So suddenly the idea is passed. You've got a whole lot of frustrated people and very few ideas. So there's a couple of tricks to this. Silent brainwriting works like this. You set a timer, just like your time timer from last week. And you get people to individually, on post-it notes, put as many ideas as they can in a short space of time. And that's why it's called silent brainwriting, is you do it individually, silently on your own, and you don't filter, you don't assess, you just get as many post-it notes as you can out in a certain amount of time. So silent brainwriting is a very, very cool technique as part of an ideation session. And I found a very cool article that details it really well that will stick into the newsletter and the podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see that one being a really useful one because, if you do, I think the way that, we're used to it in sort of like school groups and things like that, the way that we've grown up, a lot of group work is done by the most dominant sort of social figure there, and then you miss so much input and good ideas from the introverts that sort of aren't comfortable speaking up in the group, and it's just sort of wasted ideas. They don't go anywhere, they just stay in that person's head. So something like that I can see being really powerful to get the most out of the whole group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just building on that, I think it's a great way to get everybody all inclusive. Just a way to get every idea possible, even if it's the same idea and we have to group them and merge them. But I think it's so valuable to get every idea possible. That volume, it really, really is. I can't say it enough. It's really valuable to get a large volume of ideas.
Yeah, we've seen teams generate 50, 80, 100 ideas in a few minutes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with making lots of ideas is you can always go back and sort them later. We have ways of sorting them, which we'll bring up in later podcasts. But if you have that quantity of ideas, you can always go back to them. And just so many different sorting methods. So it's a really good
how do you get a good idea? You have lots and lots of ideas. Then
definitely.
Numbers game, right? Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. Connor, what's your innovation tool of the week this week?
Awesome. So innovation, another digital tool of the week. I've got Sprint Base for you. So Sprint Base, it's a lot of these innovation sort of based apps are that they're based on boards and they look very mind mappy with sticky notes and things like that. This one has the difference in that it will actually sort of guide you through a sprint process. So rather than you having to face this empty canvas with no sort of direction at all without a sprint master sometimes. The actual software itself will be your sprint master, and it will tell you exactly what needs to be done at what different stages. So this is really good for someone who it is quite new to sprints, and they want to introduce a whole team to it, but they don't want to look into too much of research into how to conduct a sprint themselves. This is quite a good sort of middle ground solution. So it's got some really good features. It's got a lot of team features. So it'll sort of tell the whole team to make insights, and then you go in and look at those insights, things like that. And another really unique feature that I was quite interested in is at the very end of your sprint, it will produce a PDF for you, to sort of just consolidate everything that happened within the sprint, and you can sort of hand those over sort of corporate wide and show people what sort of outcomes came from the sprint. So I think that's really cool in itself. So yeah, what do you think about that, Grant?
Yeah, it sounds very cool. I like the idea of a facilitated process. Innovation Training Network, we love sprints. So something that could help people do that process on their own in a guided, structured way. Very, very, very cool. Worth a look at. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I really do like that. My only question is it customizable? So once you've done a few sprints, can you change the sprint process that they lead you through, or is it just a generic process?
I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of a hard one to reresearch. They don't have too much. Yeah, they don't have too much information available. But no, I'm not sure is the answer. But it's definitely not. I would say that maybe it would be hard to replace a real sprint master, and to a degree, I suppose you have to do it the sprint-based way if you are going to do sprints. So I'd imagine it's less customizable than doing it through something like Miro, because obviously Miro, you can sort of do anything you want on it. So it's definitely for someone who doesn't know a lot about sprints and they don't have a preference of how they want to do a sprint. They just want to get a sprint done and dip their toe in the water. So
I suppose they can sort of build their own sprints after that, after having some sort of exposure to the sprint process.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe you want to take it across the company at low costs, build capacity. Yeah, there's definitely some benefits. So definitely worth a look at. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Awesome. So I think that's it for the Innovation Collab Tool of the Week. So shall we wrap up the podcast, guys?
I think it's time. Episode 5. We did it.
Episode 4.
We did it.
It's hard to keep track of these podcasts. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
See you guys. Same time next week. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 4 of the Innovation Conversation, brought to you by Innovation Network. If you want to get in touch with us, you can go to innovationtrainingnetwork.com or email us at sales@innovationtrainingnetwork.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.